The affirmative plan wants you to focus only on the release of prisoners from jail by legalizing marijuana. They do not focus on the economical aspect of this debate. The legalization of marijuana could actually end up hurting our economy. Argument 1. The affirmative plan will increase the amount of marijuana usage significantly. Subpoint A. People are in favor of legalizing marijuana already. Denny Carice, scientist and clinician of the substance abuse field, Huffington Post, July 28, 2013, Access, November 11, 2013. Media outlets have recently reported that anywhere from 40 to 52% of U.S. adults are in favor of the drug's legalization. In the study for the first figure, overall public support among adults for medical use, decriminalization, and legalization of marijuana was 70, 50, and 40% respectively, and surprisingly, only slightly lower among parents. Subpoint B. Marijuana is already the most used illicit drug in the U.S. Office of National Drug Control Policy, published by the WhiteHouse.gov, Access, November 11, 2013. Marijuana is the most commonly used illicit drug in the United States, with nearly 17 million Americans aged 12 and older reporting past month use, and 374,000 people entering an emergency room annually with a primary marijuana problem. The downward trend in youth marijuana use during the late 1990s has ended. According to the 2009 National Survey on Drug Use and Health, past month marijuana use among 12 to 17-year-olds climbed 9% from 2008 to 2009. Legalizing marijuana. Subpoint C. Legalizing marijuana would cause it to become a commercial industry. Sue Rush, president and co-founder of National Families and Action Association, December 16, 2011, Access, November 6, 2013. Keeping drugs illegal prevents commercial industries from emerging, ones that are free to advertise and market to increase consumption and free to target children, a given percentage of whom will become addicted and lifetime consumers. We've been there, done that with alcohol and tobacco, whose business models depends on addicting children to replace users who die from tobacco and alcohol-related diseases and accidents. Subpoint D. Legalizing would make it cheaper and increase its accessibility. Office of National Drug Control Policy, published by the WhiteHouse.gov, Access, November 11, 2013. A recent report from the RAND Corporation, Altered State, discussed how legalization would cause the price of marijuana to plummet, triggering increase in use of the drug. Illegality helps keep prices higher, and because drug use is sensitive to price, especially among young people, higher prices help keep use rates relatively low. Argument 2. An increase in marijuana usage would actually end up hurting the U.S. economy greatly. Subpoint A. First off, physical damage would be done to users that abuse the drug. Joe Messerly, author of BalancePolitics.org, with a degree from University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, BalancePolitics.org, October 30, 2013. Although some studies have been disputed, marijuana abuse has been tied to brain damage, cancer, lung damage, depression, anti-motivational syndrome, and even death. The brain damage has been shown to cause memory loss and difficulty in problem solving. It is the government's duty to protect the public from such dangerous drugs. After all, that's why the FDA was created. By increasing the amount of harm that marijuana does to people, it could lead to an increase in medical costs. Subpoint B. Marijuana would lead to an increase in medical costs. Denny Carice, scientist and clinician of the substance abuse field, Huffington Post, July 23, 2013, Access, November 11, 2013. Revenue doesn't even come close to covering the enormous costs to our society from these products. Alcohol misuse results in increased traffic accidents, ER visits, domestic violence, and lost work productivity, while both substances lead to substantial and costly medical problems and even death. In 2010, there were 15,990 alcohol liver deaths and 25,692 alcohol-induced deaths, excluding alcohol-related accidents and homicides. In the prior year, there were 10,839 traffic fatalities and alcohol-impaired driving crashes. These are just the figures for fatalities. Quite obviously, the cost to society soar even higher when figuring in those lucky enough to just be injured in accidents or still living with emphysema, lung, or liver disease. Subpoint C. Marijuana would stop people from performing basic functions. Denis Carré, scientist and clinician of the substance abuse field. Huffington Post, July 23, 2013, November 11, 2013. There are still many people who believe that a person high on marijuana can function properly at home or work and can operate a motor vehicle without impairment. But the reality is that in 2011, marijuana was involved in 455,668 emergency room visits nationwide. And marijuana has been proven to impair motor coordination and reaction time, being the second most prevalent drug implicated in automobile accidents. Subpoint D, marijuana affects the brain, making it harder to do basic functions. National Institute on Drug Abuse, July 2012, November 10, 2013. The highest density of cannabinoid receptors is found in parts of the brain that influence pleasure, memory, thinking, concentration, sensory and time perception, and coordinated movement. Marijuana overactivates the endocannabinoid system, causing the high and other effects that users experience. These include distorted perception, impaired coordination, difficulty with thinking and problem solving, and disrupting learning and memory. I now stand open for cross-examination.
Okay, is your story talking about federal or like the whole country being economically hurt by if marijuana was legal?
Well, since the debate is about legalizing it in states, it's about the state economy.
You're saying that marijuana is the second highest reason for automobile accidents?
Yes.
First being alcohol?
Yes.
So, why should we ever legalize alcohol and we shouldn't legalize marijuana? Marijuana hasn't sent anyone to the ER solely by itself, unless it's mixed with driving or other drugs.
An overdose of marijuana could send someone to the ER.
If you have any evidence that proves that.
In subpoint B, I did say that 374,000 people are entering an emergency room annually with a primary marijuana problem. It is a marijuana-related incident that sent them to the emergency room.
Is it marijuana solely by itself, or does it not say that?
It doesn't state whether it is by itself, but is still related to a marijuana problem.